Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Good evening, fellow Fox fans. As I always say, are you going to argue with Jerry? I'm not. It's Tuesday. It's 7:05, and that can only mean one thing. It's me and my chat chum Craig. It's the preview show, and this is Leicester Till I Die. A bit of a blast from the past there for those of you that are into it. Yes, it is. Subscribe, but please. It's the preview show. We're playing on Saturday at 8 o'clock. It's a little matter of this. It is. It's Leicester versus the Saints. This time last year, we thought we were going to do the double over them, and they kind of got their own back after that unforgettable match, which I'm sure will be mentioned a couple of times this evening. If you're watching and you want to watch us, well, you're watching us live, you can catch us on YouTube, on Leicester Till I Die TV, on Periscope and Twitter at Leicester TID. And Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group. And please click on that StreamYard link. Just bring your name up. Just see who we can speak, who we're speaking to. And if you're listening to us, you can catch us on Google, Apple iTunes, Spotify, and Anchor podcasts. Leicester Till I Die. It's all down the side there. Your left, as you look at it, that's what you can see. Well, it is Southampton this week. We're back to the league. We're back to the day job, as they say. It's a small matter of third versus sixth. Not exactly top of the table clash, but there or thereabouts. And let's see what my chat chum Craig has to say about the match. Good evening, Craig.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everyone. How are we?
How the devil are you, sir?
Well, I'm pretty good. My life these days, obviously in lockdown, is a little bit curtailed. It comprises of watching virtually every football match that's on TV and sitting in front of Matt Hancock and Boris waving me a little Union Jack every time an OAP gets vaccinated. It's a wonderful life.
Oh, a wonderful life. Sounds like it could be a film.
Yeah, well, I think it used to be that every time a bell rang, an angel got its wings. But I think it's now every time you hear a bell ring, an OAP's got vaccinated. So it's been brought up into the modern day.
Well, we'll wait for your bell to ring there, Craig.
Indeed.
Oh,
it's been a while.
Come on, it was an open net. I had to knock it in.
You did.
Moving on quickly. We'll say good evening to Matthew, who's in Dublin, Dublin Port tonight. Good evening, Matthew. Over there with the GGs. So after the weekend, that was a good run out. The team, obviously, Brendan didn't get your memo. He went for a completely different team.
To be fair, though, Chris, I was only 2 players out in that team. It was, and we didn't know Maddison was going to be injured, so it was only Maddison and Vardy that was out. It's probably the closest I've been, and the closest I'll ever get all season. So I'm taking 9 out of 11.
To be honest with you, I can't remember what it was, but I'll take your word for it. I don't think neither of us went for a 4-0, though, did we?
No, we didn't, did we? No, I think I went 2-0, and I think you went for a 2-1. But 4-0. It was a great, really good performance. You know, as usual, we give the opposition a chance, and it tends to be they either take it or they don't. And the last couple of weeks, they've not. Sam Vokes should have scored, really, but apart from that, I think we were in control the whole game and looked pretty comfortable, to be honest.
We did. Well, it's Southampton coming up, and just for those of you that want to see another take on the game, on lcfc.com, www.lcfc.com / I don't know why I did that. You can't see me because I've got the picture up there / opposition view. We've had a chat with Match Day Vlogs, and they kindly answered the question for us, and ahead of, so a dozen questions ahead of the match. It's just a different take on the TV show, and I think the quote that I've picked up as the headline on it from Jack Martin from the Match Day Vlogs was, "I've never been more angry, upset, or over the sport of football as I was after that game." And I think we know what that game was, don't we, Craig?
I think we do know what that game was. I was talking to someone about it today, actually, someone who doesn't really follow football, and it managed to come up in conversation, and I explained to them that it was the biggest away victory by any team ever. I think it wasn't just Premier League, I think it was of all time. Just one of those unbelievable quirky games where virtually everything we hit went in. And for once, all the fates conspired to help us. But it was just unbelievable, wasn't it? I think anybody who watched it will never forget that game. And Southampton fans never will either. Of course, I only live just down the road, literally in Dorset from there. So it was a bit like a home game for me. But it was like, you know, I went with my brother-in-law, and it was a night to remember. I think coming out of there, I think I decided to run the FA Cup, the League Cup. We were going to do everything that season. Saying good evening to Peter Hines. He's in sunny Southend. Oh wow!
And if you want to watch the game this weekend, it's 8 o'clock. Like you say, games are all over the place, but at least we're getting to see them all. 8 o'clock on BT Sports this Saturday. You were doing nothing else this Saturday night, were you, Craig?
No, I just my life revolves around football now. It's all those things that I was going to do: cinema, theatre, going to the pub. I've decided to can all of those and just watch football.
Football, much to your good lady's cheer, I would imagine.
To be honest, it's not too bad. I know people who get a lot more stick for it, so I can't complain too much.
But, we've got Southampton. It's not. We know we're not going to have another sort of 9-0. We didn't have a 9-0 in this fixture last year, which in its turn was the return leg. But as we always do, we have a look at the match history as we do here, and we've played 91. 28 draws, 29 for us, 34 for them. Pretty close.
It is pretty close. I am slightly surprised that we're on the wrong side of that game's won and lost, to be honest. I thought we might be slightly ahead. I mean, Southampton have never really had many years flirting with the top of the division. They had a few close shaves, but they've never been a really strong team over a number of years. So I'm surprised. I thought we may have had more victories than them.
I think that was
let's get them on at the weekend.
Yeah, I think that was possibly going back to our championship years. My favourite Craig, what I like to call my Craig Levine period, when they probably beat us on a regular basis. But looking at the Premier League here, we played them 28 times because we have got the better of them in the Premier League. Yeah. There's 9 draws, but we have got 11 wins over their 8. And of those 11, 7 of them have been at home, and they've only managed to win 3 away.
Well, that bodes well, and to be honest, that's more what I expected in terms of our record against them. So, Premier League, yeah, we've had the better of them, and I think Southampton are a funny team over there. They've been up in the Premier League. I'm not sure how many consecutive years now, but I seem to think that when they were talking about having this new European League, I think Southampton were going to be the next one in line because they'd been in the Premier League the consecutive number of years. So it's been a while since they've been back down, and they were just a solid team, aren't they? Nothing overly spectacular. They went through that phase of selling their best players on a regular basis. But they had a good line of youth coming through. It sort of changed a little bit. They don't have so many youth products coming through, but they're a solid team and will give anyone a game on their day.
Yeah. And talking of match day vlogs, who did our opposition view on the website, they've joined us this evening. Don't know whether they just popped in to say hi and popped out again, but we'll say hello to the Saints fans. Looking forward to it. We'll ask you again after 90 minutes if you're beating you. You were looking forward to it. Although Matthew kind of sums it up. It's going to take a bit of winning this one. They have, we're at home and we never do. Obviously, we know we're not doing as well at home. No. And they've got Danny Ings, who literally is on fire.
He is, wouldn't he be a great player to try and pick up? I'm sure he's tied down to a decent contract, and I'm sure he's happy where he is. But he would have been a nice player for us to pick up, I think. Southampton did well, to be fair, and they were the ones who put the gamble on him and on his fitness, because he's always been a good player, but he had that bad period at Liverpool where he couldn't seem to string half a dozen games together because he was always injured. But I don't think anybody ever doubted his talent, and they've managed to keep him pretty fit at Southampton, and he's banging the goals in. He's a really, really top-class striker.
It just shows you, though, doesn't it, how a player, and I always said this when Vardy was being linked with Arsenal all that time, I don't think Vardy would have done well at Arsenal, or the type of team they are. And sometimes you buy a player because they are doing well at whichever club it is, doesn't mean they're going to do well at your club. Torres at Chelsea, Ings at Liverpool, just prime examples of that.
Yeah, and you've seen, other players more recently as well from Southampton. So, Højbjerg looks like a player reinvented at Spurs. He was a little bit of a run-of-the-mill player at Southampton, but I think he wasn't given the responsibility that he's been given at Spurs. Tadic, who was a great player, always had the talent, and I think I can't remember where he's gone now, but he went abroad and he's doing great in Europe, but never really consistently performed for Southampton. So they've always had some good players, Southampton, and I think this current crop, they've got a few unsung heroes in there as well. I think Armstrong's a really good, solid player and can always crop up and cause a bit of problems. I guess one thing that is a benefit to us at the minute, the way that we defend corners, is the fact that Vestergaard is injured and out. Otherwise, I think that may have been a danger for us. That's for sure.
Yeah, we've just been told it was Ajax that you went.
Yeah. I was going to say Ajax, but I didn't want to make myself look a fool. I know I usually do anyway, but on this occasion, I thought I'd better of it.
Not when you're being watched. It's always a bit hard. I mean, I've got to give credit to Southampton, because I'm sure you remember when we had that loss to Watford in the playoff semi-final, how easy it would have been at that point. I think a lot of clubs would have possibly sacked the manager.
Yeah.
We stuck with Nigel Pearson. The rest, as they say, is history. We broke records left, right, and centre the following year. We went up as champions. It showed that sticking with a manager can work. How many managers, having been drubbed at home 9-0, would have got rid of the manager? They stuck with him.
Yeah.
And look what he's done. He's turned it around, and you've got to give the guy credit for that.
I think he's a fantastic manager. I think he was a great manager before Southampton, picked him up and did really well to spot him over in Germany and bring him in. And as you say, it would have been very easy to have a knee-jerk reaction from the board. I think, they've done pretty well, I think, recently in terms of picking up managers. Obviously, it didn't really work out for Koeman, but Pochettino was a great pick when they got him, and I think Hasenhüttl is doing the same. And I think the only danger for Southampton is the fact that the better job he does, the more attractive he becomes to bigger clubs, and that's no disrespect to Southampton, but I think he's a great manager. You can see the way he plays and the way he gets emotional, which I love as well. The way that he reacted when he got that win over Liverpool was fantastic. Tears in his eyes, and it means a lot to him. And fans love that in a manager. They want to see the manager be as emotional as the fans are, and I think they've got a good one there, and I hope they can hang on to him for a while.
I think, like you said, I think it does show that sometimes not having a knee-jerk reaction is the best thing, because we remember that game, and I make no apologies for talking about it a lot. It was definitely sort of one of those I was there moments, and you've got to sometimes take it on the chin and go, do you know what? We got our arses whipped tonight, and we also, as the winning fans, have to go, do you know what? It could have hit our arse and gone in tonight. It's not going to happen. You're not going to lose like that every week. And as we know, you're not going to win like that every week, are you?
No. And I think it showed, again, Southampton in many ways are a similar club to us, similar size. Obviously, we've had some recent success. But I thought it was great that as that game went on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals go in, and the fans sort of, turned a little bit. But by the end, I think they came to the realization as well that this is just a freak result. We've played pretty badly, to be fair, but we were ruthless. And the fans stuck behind them to the end. And that was great as well. And that shows that real bond between fans and the club.
It is. And it also shows my total lack of football punditry knowledge. As I said at half time, I turned to my son at half time. Was it 5? It was 5, I think, at half time, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
And I went, that's it. We'll take our foot off the gas in the second half. It'll be 0-0 now. Which, let's be honest, it usually is in that sort of situation. But that was last year.
It is. Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it was one of those games also that showed us a little bit about what Brendan Rodgers was made of as well, because he made a big deal afterwards, and the players came out the same and said that they were 5-0 up, but there was no way that he was going to take his foot off the gas. He wanted us to go out and really make a statement, and we did that, to be fair. So that was encouraging from our point of view. It would have been easy, as you say, to take players off, rest them, just glide through the rest of the game. So so it was good. I think both teams learnt a little bit about their manager on that day.
Yeah. Match day vlogs again there. Ralph has never taken points off Klopp. It was a personal goal of his, hence the full-time emotions. And I mean, well done for sticking with us through all the 9-0 talk as well.
Yes.
The way around, I might have run off by now. But Form Guy, going back to sort of Saturday's game, I mean, they have just come back off that win against Liverpool. They also they've had a couple of draws there. Fulham, and we all know about Fulham, and we all know about West Ham as well. They got a couple of 0-0s. Lost to Man City, which a lot of clubs will do this season, although obviously not us, and a draw with Arsenal. Not a million miles away from sort of our form, and we got a couple of wins there, Newcastle and Spurs. The draws, Man United, Palace, and of course the loss to Everton. So form's pretty much on an even keel there.
Again, I think it reflects the fact that we are pretty similar teams. I would say, and again, no disrespect, I think Southampton are not the same team when Ings isn't playing, in exactly the same way we're not the same team when Vardy isn't playing. Yes, we've got some decent replacements, but they're not as good, and I think it shows. And I think those couple of 0-0s, and I'm sure they'll correct me if I'm wrong, were probably when Ings wasn't playing. But so they are a team who rely on Ings. Shea Adams has stepped up this year, and I think he was decent. I liked him when he was at Birmingham. I like the fact that he's very direct in his play. He wants to try and get a shot off, so I think he's a danger as well. I do like him. And I think that's given them that second striker that we probably don't have. It's Vardy or Iheanacho with us, and they're very, very different players. Where I think Ings is a much better player than Shea Adams, but I think they both have a goal threat, which probably we don't when Vardy isn't playing.
As Mark said there, and good evening, Mark. We have exactly the same stadium as well, don't we? It's built by the same people.
Yeah, we do.
It is exactly the same. Although I do remember going to one match and being sat underneath a leak. They'd have a leak in their roof, which we don't have. But looking, as we always do, and I'm sorry, Matchday Vlogs, but we do have a look at last season. And to be honest with you, yeah, okay, we've discussed the 9-0. Showed how they turned it round. And they did come back. Although we said that was in January. That was at the start of our not so good run.
Yeah. I think that was probably a bit of a letdown, wasn't it? But I think, I think that game we were on a hiding to nothing. Southampton had a lot to prove, and you can imagine there wasn't any team talk required. I wouldn't have thought before that game. All they needed to put up was, and I apologise for mentioning it again, was. Southampton 0, Leicester 9. Put that large on the wall in the changing room. And I would have thought that's the team talk done. And fair play to them. They came out. Sorry,
I was going to say. In fairness, I think before the game we actually played the 9-0 on the big screens because I remember them saying that it was very un-Leicester-like thing to do, and it was kind of. Rubbing the noses in it a little bit, and maybe we got what we deserved.
Maybe I think we do that. To be fair, I think we've done that for every game. We've showed the recent results, and maybe discretion may have been the better part of valour on that one. If it was a 1 or a 2-0, there probably wouldn't have been too bad showing it. But the dare I say it, the 9-0 showing it again would probably a little bit. I think it was. I think we got 9.
9. That was it. 9-0. Yeah, we're lining ourselves up for a beating here, aren't we?
We are indeed.
I mean, literally, they are one win behind us. I mean, they'd need to sort of beat us by 4 goals to overtake us, but it is tight at the top there, isn't it? I mean, I know Man United have now got the game in hand, as do Spurs and Man City. And, depending on what happens health-wise, that may extend. But, Southampton literally are just those 3 points behind. And not so long ago, they were top in the league.
They had a really good start to the season and very consistent. I don't think they've had any of the sort of highs and lows. I don't think their performance levels have fluctuated as much as ours have. So I think we've hit highs, but we've also hit lower lows. Whereas Southampton have just been maintained a level of consistency and got results. And as you say, you have to grind out a couple of 0-0s in this league when things are not going well for you and you don't have your best team. The ability to grind a point out can stand you in good stead. I have no illusions whatsoever that this isn't going to be anything other than a really tough game for us.
Just to, again, the guys are taking it on the chin. Matchday Vlogs, the Southampton group, they're actually doing their opposition view or preview show on Wednesday night at 11. And I can be as horrible as I want to them in this because I know I'm not going on that. Brad's doing it for me. So Brad can take all the stick back. I'm safe from that. I tell you what, while we've got Matchday Vlogs watching us, I just want to sidetrack a bit because I was looking at mascots, and it's a bit like the Churchill dog chewing a wasp there. Not exactly sure. I think their mascot is a dog, but somebody said it should be a St Bernard with them being the Saints, but nobody knows quite what it is. But if Matchday Vlogs is still watching, please give us a heads up as to what your mascot actually is.
Yeah, it's funny. To be honest, if you'd have asked me, I wouldn't have had a clue what their mascot was. It's one of those that's just sort of escaped me. I think all they can say is it's not a boiler like West Brom have got. So anything's better than that.
You beat me to that. I was just about to mention the boiler, but I don't mean my ex-wife either. So yeah.
Just a quick aside there, Chris. Just a quick one. I would say that Southampton, again, as we touched on this very briefly about them sticking with their manager. For me, and I don't know what anyone else thinks, but West Brom deserve everything they get this season. The way that they got rid of Bilic after a great performance against Man City, grinding out that draw. For him to already have been, Sam Allardyce was already lined up to take over. And who knows what Bilic would have done. He clearly had that team playing for him to get that point at Man City. So I think he was treated pretty badly there. And I'm not a big fan of Sam. So the sooner that he can get rid of that, I've never taken a team down tag, the better. So if there's any West Brom fans watching, which I don't think there is, but unfortunately, goodbye.
He did well in the cup this week, didn't he, Big Sam?
Did he get beat again? He got beaten, didn't he, by Blackpool? Was it?
Yeah.
It's a shame.
What a shame! What a shame! Yeah, to be honest with you, I think that was pretty disgusting as well. But we don't know the ins and outs. Talking of Sammy, it was Sammy the Saint. Apparently, it's a dog, but they've no idea why. Obviously, a bit of a rough decision. Oh, never mind. Let's
just move on, Chris. Move on.
Move on. I'll take your lead, and I'll take your. Yeah, all right. Let's just move on. And he agrees with you. So well said. That short-term vision from Albion. So obviously, Southampton are going to look at this at the weekend. Know what we're like at home. They're going to go for us, aren't they?
I think so. I think they'll be wary of us. I think sometimes we as much as a lot of Leicester fans talk ourselves up as, we have this divine right these days to be in the top four and we should be challenging for the title. I think the other side is that we still have that mentality. A lot of Leicester fans of, we're not as good as, maybe the table shows. And so we're still going to these games with a little bit of trepidation. Whereas I think Southampton will be just as afraid of what we've got as we will of them. So I think both teams are going to take this really seriously, and it's either going to be some kind of stalemate that we just grind it out and we take each other out, or it could be a really good free flowing game of football, and I hope it's the latter. And I'm quite happy if we win 5-4.
Football's the winner. Is it bollocks? We want to be the winner.
That's the one.
Let's go. Well, you said earlier your team selection was a 9 out of 11. So let's have a very, very quick break, and we'll have a look at what your team selection for this week is going to be. So we'll be right back after this, guys.
Hi, Alan Smith here. Be sure to watch and listen to Chris on Leicester Till I Die TV. You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels. Up the Foxes!
You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV with Chris and Chums. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Pinterest. All you need for everything Leicester City FC. It's Leicester Till I Die TV. Now available on Spotify.
Welcome back. And as I always say, this isn't Craig's lineup. I don't know, I can't even see who half those are. I should have gone for Specsavers or been a ref, either or. But just a lead in to Craig, who is going to tell us what team he would put out for this weekend's home fixture against Southampton.
You know what, Chris? I think. Well, that would be nice.
Rob, put a fiver on it.
Yeah. And even better, as he'll be coming off the bench for it. I think we're getting as close to the team picking itself as we've been for many a season now, to be honest. I think this team, apart from Soyuncu's starting to come back now, but I think he's going to have to wait for his opportunity of an injury or a suspension. And I think, to be honest, I'm not sure if Evans must be one booking away if he's not already suspended. And obviously Ricardo coming back. So I think I think the team's almost picking itself, and probably everybody could guess at the team that I'm probably going to go for if everybody's fit. I tell you, what was interesting was the explanation that Brendan gave for why he switched the fullbacks around with Tim and JJ. So taking that on board, I think he may do the same again. So same back four. So Kasper, I think he'll play Castagna on the right, then Fofana, Evans and JJ on the left again. And for those who didn't see what Brendan said, he said that Castagna's game was more about his running. And that's the main benefit of his game, that he can just get straight up and down that side. And when he's playing with Barnes in front of him, because he likes Barnes to start wide and then come in, he can often block the space for Castagna, who likes to run into that, so they don't dovetail as well together. Whereas he said that JJ is much more comfortable coming inside, as he did to great effect for that fantastic first goal. So that was the reason he switched the fullbacks. And if that's his thinking, I can't see why he would switch it back again. Hopefully that's just explained why.
I was going to say that's just answered your question there. Yes, well said, Craig. Well answered. You answered the questions before the questions come up.
That's a talent, isn't it?
Yes,
that is. So yeah, I mean, naturally, I would have thought they were the other way around, and JJ looks more comfortable on the right, but that was Brendan's thought process, as I say. Whether it was just for that game and he thought there'd be more space that he could expose down that side, but if not, then I can't see why he would switch it back again for this one. Although I think you've probably got Walcott playing down the right hand side, who's a bit more got a bit of pace about him. So, to be fair, JJ and Castagna both have a bit of pace about them, so I don't think we'd be too troubled by that. So going on to midfield, and then Ndidi sitting in front, and then I think it's the standard now. If Maddison's fit, I think it's Albrighton, Tielemans, Maddison, Barnes, and then Vardy up front. And if Maddison isn't fit, I would think Perez would come in, because that Pratt injury looked like it could keep him out for 2 or 3 weeks.
I think I have read somewhere that he is, but that's his season over.
Oh well. Okay,
um,
that's
possibly. But
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
so,
let's hope not. I mean, he pulled up straight away, and they got him off the pitch. So touch wood, because obviously he's got the Euros coming up as well. So that'd be a shame
yeah,
that if he
yeah.
couldn't make those.
I mean, look, like you say, I mean that team, if everybody is fit, is very well, is very good. I mean, the guy you just mentioned here, he's so much better on the right, in my opinion. But like you say, you've got to think of how it fit, like you said, Craig, very much so how it fits in with the team. And
Yeah,
yes, he might be better on the right, but when you're putting the rest of the team in place, he actually is better on the left, which I think basically
I mean, to be fair, he
you
didn't have a bad game, did he?
no.
I think in many ways, I think he showed that his versatility, and I think Matthew. I think that whole versatility of being able to play both sides and slip into a three-man defence, which we know that Southgate seems to like. He does like his back three with another two and then another two fullbacks, Mr. Defensive. But I think JJ's got a great shout of being in the next squad with his versatility.
I think it would be ironic if JJ ousted Chilwell from that left back position, would it? Would it not? Harvey Barnes,
it would be, but I think Chilwell's had a decent season. To be fair,
Harvey Barnes is going to be something special. How he's performing at the moment, he is, and we said last season a lot. We bemoaned his lack of goals, but he's certainly putting that right this season. Yeah, somebody here, Pratt out for 3 months. Good evening, Stephen Collins. Thanks for joining us, mate. And basically, yeah, as I was saying, Pratt out for 3 months. I think when you're talking about recovery as well, I think we're looking at probably his season over. Like you say, looking at that squad. I mean, if we went back, let's say 3 months, you would not have thought of any way that you would not have Soyuncu in your team, would you? But like you say, he's going to find it hard. I agree with you. And I've never been one for just bringing a player back because of who they are, if the team is performing well. I mean, obviously, you've got the likes of Vardy, but, if Inacho was scoring 1 or 2 every game and Vardy was injured, I mean, I know it's a fairy tale that, but then a player has to wait his chance, and like you say, maybe Evans he's one booking away, I think, from, like you say, missing the game. It could be Soyuncu's chance. We didn't ever thought of not having Soyuncu in the team, would we?
not at all. I think what it does is it bodes well for the up and coming games that we've got now. Obviously, we've got the league games. I think the Europa League starts in February again. We had the cup draw last night, so we see how quickly those cup games are going to come around, the FA Cup games as well. So I think it gives us that opportunity that if we do need to rest a player, we've got someone almost as good to bring in, which is great for us. Or if we do get a little niggling injury, we have got more squad depth to cope with it this time round. Whereas in previous seasons, I think we've struggled a bit and our performance has dropped off. Which is great, and Soyuncu, he's going to have to wait for his opportunity. Knowing Johnny Evans, I don't think he'll be waiting that long, to be honest, because there's every chance that he'll get a book in.
Yeah, bless him. Brighton, he's the comeback kid.
He is, isn't he? And again, I think that's a perfect example of someone fitting a system rather than just playing necessarily your most skillful players. He's not the most skillful player. Perez is much more of a skillful player. We've probably got 2 or 3 who are more skillful, but I think he fits the system, as I say, and he will do his defensive work, which means whoever's playing right back behind him has more scope and freedom to go forward, because he knows that Brighton has the footballing and intelligence to fill in when he needs to, and he rarely lets us down. Mark, he's a regular, minimum 7 out of 10, and you need 1 or 2 of those players in your squad.
Yes, yeah. And injury-wise, I've not heard any updates on Maddison or Vardy. I don't know if you have at all.
No, I've not heard anything which for me says that I think they're going to be okay. I think he rested them probably more of a precaution than anything. Particularly Vardy, I think he didn't need to play him in that game. I think if he felt he needed to, I think he would have at least had him on the bench. So I think giving him a week off has helped Vardy, and I expect Maddison to play as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Few people asking here about people that are leaving and coming in. We'll be covering that tomorrow night on the transfer show, 7 o'clock, with myself and Mark. Unfortunately, Craig probably will be too upset to watch that because we know now Slimani has moved on. But keep your chin up there, Craig. Don't.
I'm staying strong.
Right. Okay. So moving on then, let us have a look at score predictions. Now, I'm just getting them up now. Again, you can go on to the website www.leicestertillidie.com/predictions, and you can see what the ex-Foxes have gone for. So let me just quickly run down those, which is Steve Walsh has gone for a 2-0 win. Steve Lynix and Ian Marshall have both gone for draws. Marsh, you never want to mix his words, but Steve has gone for a 1-1 and Marsh has gone for a 2-2. Like I say, Steve Walsh has gone for a 2-0. I have actually gone for a 3-2 because I think there will be goals in this. And I think Danny Ings is going to, obviously going to be the main threat, but I find it hard to predict against Leicester, and that's why I think we'll nick it 3-2. Let everybody get your score predictions in as well, so you can bring those up. But let's see what Craig's going.
Yeah, it's a really tricky one, isn't it? Because I'm almost with you in terms of thinking a 3-2 or a 2-2. Because I just fancy Danny Ings, and I also fancy Ward-Prowse to pop a free kick in. Really good player, Ward-Prowse. I really rate him. But I don't know. But I can't go the same as you, Chris. So I'm going to go for a 2-1. I'm going to go for a nick by one. Big 3-2, but I'm going to go 2-1.
You can by all means go the same as me, because Rob, being the intelligent person that he is, Rob has gone 3-2 as well. Good going there, Rob. You're a man of hidden intelligence. And Matthew, he's actually going one better. He's going for a 4-2 Leicester. That's going to be a goal fest there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take that. And Stephen, I'll take all of these. And Stephen Collins has gone a 4-1 to Leicester. I think we've lost match day vlogs, so we don't know what they may be going for. In fact, I can probably tell you what match day vlogs were going for, because they did the opposition view. Again, www.leicestertillidie.com/opposition view. He went for a 2-0 to Southampton. So
did they? Okay.
Yes, he's feeling confident. Yes, yeah. Rob's come back and gone mostly hidden. As long as you agree with me, you'll always get a mention on here. Don't worry about it. But and this is a different guy on Matchday Vlogs. This is Mike. Okay. Sorry, Mike. I was forgetting it was you're not Jack. I was thinking you were one and the same. Mike's gone for 2-1. Jack went for 2-0. Both of the Saints. We will see. You'll have to come on the post-match show with myself and Brad, and if we win, of course, you can come on. If you win, we won't have you on. So yeah, pretty confident there from the Leicester fans that we're going to get 3 points. We need to, obviously, if we are going to keep up the challenge, as they say, especially, like I say, because a lot of the teams around us have got those. He says, likewise. They have got that game in hand, which I always like to have the points on the table personally. Do you, Craig?
Oh, definitely. I'd rather have the points in the bag. It's that pessimistic side of you, isn't it? That you always think that everybody's going to win those games in hand, but the way this season's going, there's no guarantee. I mean, Man United can go top tomorrow, I think, or is it tonight? When they play Burnley, but Burnley, going away to Burnley, it's no easy thing. So you can expect, but who knows?
I lived in Burnley for 20 odd years. It's a cold, unforgiving place on an evening game, I'll tell you. Especially if you're up at the back of that new stand and you can see all the way over the fields and what have you. It's a cold place up there with Stoke, I think. Like you say, and I think it's being a Leicester fan as well. You say it's being pessimistic. I think it's actually, if you look up pessimistic in the diary, I think it says a Leicester fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I think we run the extremes, don't we? We have the, not decrying the newer fans, shall we say, who are almost like overly optimistic, but then the older ones amongst us have seen it all, so we tend to be the more pessimistic ones, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's like I say, all good in the hood. Everybody seems to be confident anyway that we are going to get the win. Fingers crossed we are. It's classic match time, and I think people will probably guess what you're going for, but we changed the rules slightly on this, I think, the other week, didn't we? That because we're at home, it's got to be a Leicester Southampton game at home, and people might be surprised, as I was, by the one you're going for. So let's have a look and let's bring up Craig's classic match.
Well, it's the match that never was, really, to be honest. So 15th of October, way back in 1983, and if anyone was there, I would imagine that they would probably remember this game. It was on Match of the Day, so we had great commentary by John Motson, and the game was played, shall we say, in a torrential downpour, and it had been raining for a long time. And anybody who does know this game, the most famous part of it was how wet the pitch was, and Steve Lynex was tackled by, I can't remember who it was, but he was tackled, and he basically did the breaststroke in the middle of the pitch. It seemed to be the only way of making any progress with the ball. It was absolutely a farce, to be honest. And I think, it was abandoned after 22 minutes of ridiculous football, or water polo was probably nearest to it. We went into that game. We'd had a shocking start to the season. It was the old First Division. Southampton were second, and if they beat us, they would go top. We played 8, and we were bottom of the table. And apparently we felt like we'd started the game really well, and we were desperate to get the game finished. And the groundsmen were arguing with the officials, match officials, that if they gave us a little bit more time, we'd have been able to get the old forks out. That's something you don't see anymore, is it? People coming on the pitch with a fork, thinking that's going to get rid of 5,000 litres of water. But yeah, they were trying to do that, and but the referee just said after 22 minutes he wasn't going to play anymore, and the game was abandoned. And it's still to this day, I think, is the only match I've ever been to that was abandoned. And we played it again on the 30th of November.
Right.
See you, Matthew. 30th of November 1983. So my question to you, Chris, on the back of that, I'm only going to give you the one question this time. So the game was replayed. Leicester, so Leicester, it was replayed 30th of November 1983. Leicester ran out 2-1 winners. 2 goals coming from that classic twin strike force that we had, Alan Smith and Gary Lineker. But which ex-Leicester player scored for Southampton?
Okay. Just while I'm thinking, just give myself some thinking time, and hopefully, guys can maybe also help me by bringing up the answer. I
I
have
tell you
actually
what.
seen. I wasn't
Uh, just while you're thinking, Chris, talking of fans who have only seen us in our successful years, that first game we started that season really badly, and say 8 games, and we were rooted at the bottom of the table. That first game that was abandoned, obviously there was the weather, but that game was played in front of less than 9,000 fans at the old Filbert Street. I think it's safe to say that in those days football was a little bit more volatile in terms of the crowds, and and if you weren't doing well, fans didn't turn up. Whereas this day, pretty much, even if you're doing bad, you've got that many season ticket holders, and people love their football, so you do fill the grounds. But yeah, less than 9,000 were at that actual game.
Well, I'm going to go, and then I'm going to just talk about another game briefly after that. But the only player I can think, Steve Moran rings a bell.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because Steve Moran, I really liked Steve Moran when he was at Leicester for a brief period of time, and Steve Moran did play in that game, and he did in fact not score.
Oh. And I tell you, I'm going to go stab in the dark, and I think I might be a couple of centuries out. But it wasn't Peter Rodriguez by any chance, was it?
That is another fantastic and unfortunately incorrect shout.
Incorrect. You're going to have to tell me. No, nobody's guessing at the moment.
No, it was actually, and I wouldn't have got this. It was Frank Worthington.
Oh no! Wow! Of course. I mean, now you say. I mean, I wouldn't have got that in a month of Sundays. I've got to be honest with you. But my God, well, good old. Unfortunately, who is suffering really badly with dementia at the moment. So our thoughts go out to Frank, as indeed they'd go out
also
to Sol Bamba, who's just starting cancer treatment today. So
yeah, I was going to say that was it was really sad news to hear that. Sol Bamba was great for it, so quickly did he become a bit of a cult hero, and he got his own song. And I remember his debut, I think, when we played Man City in a cup game, and he scored within about 5 minutes, I think. And one of those players that he always had a mistake in him, but he was great entertainment, and I'm sure every Leicester fan wished him well.
Wishes him well. Just going back, I wouldn't have got Frank Worthington at all, but just going back, I did actually remember when I say I lived in Burnley for 20 odd years, and I worked for the local newspaper, and we had what was in the day the equivalent of the executive boxes, although this was Burnley. It was more of an executive table in a huge room. It was the same idea, and I used to get to host it, obviously when it was Leicester. Nobody else wanted to go. And I can remember one, I think it was a New Year's Day game. I think I only got to go, my wife only allowed me to go because I told her work told me I had to. I was hosting the game, but that got called off because of the rain. But that was made up for by the free food and lots of free drink and wine that we had instead. But we need to take a minute's silence here, because breaking news: Sheffield United have just won a Premier League game. Whoa! Don't know who they were playing, but well done, Sheffield United. Newcastle
1-0.
Right, heck. That's well. It's nice. I have nothing against Sheffield United. I think, like most people, I've just been very surprised at the turnaround from one. It's not been a slow turnaround. It's been a drastic turnaround. It's what I guess every newly promoted team dreads happening.
Yeah, it's that second season, isn't it? They did really well, but I don't know what really has gone wrong. Similar players. I think he's probably tried to get them to play a little bit more football, and I'm not sure that they've got the players to do that. But on the back of a cup win, I think Newcastle was a good team for them to be playing tonight, and and I think Newcastle went down to 10 men quite early on in that game as well. So they managed to get a bit of luck, and it looks like Billy Sharp scored with the penalties for a 1-0 win. So well done, Sheffield United.
And well done, Craig, and thank you very much as well for coming on this evening.
You're welcome. Enjoyed it as always, Chris. Thanks, everyone.
As always, it's been a pleasure for you, I'm sure. We've loved having you on, and your great football knowledge, which makes mine look like that. So thanks a lot, Craig, and I will see you next Tuesday, as they always say.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
I think we've got Everton midweek next week, have we not?
I'm not sure. I leave those things to you to sort out, Chris, to be honest.
Oh, thank you. In fact, we've got Chelsea on Tuesday. We've got we've got Chelsea on Tuesday. So if you're free, it will be a Monday night show.
Right. I'll have to consult my considerably packed diary.
Well, and check with the missus, of course. or as you call it, your social secretary. Craig, thanks very much, mate. Hopefully, I'll see you next Monday. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Chris. Cheers.
So thanks a lot to Craig. As always, he makes the show. His knowledge is amazing. But thanks to you guys for watching and joining in. Well done, Sheffield United. Find it off the mark. Looks like it's going to be a good weekend if all your score predictions are correct. Fingers crossed that we do get the win and keep the run going. We're going to be back tomorrow night at 7 with the transfer show. Me and Mark, we're going to be looking at some of the players that we are being linked with and some of those that have left. And we're not being linked with a lot at the moment. It's very quiet out there. So if we've got time, which we probably will have, we'll also be looking at some of the best and worst January transfer dealings in Leicester City's past. I'm sure you can think of one or two that fit into both categories. On your left, you'll see where you can find us. We're all over the place. Don't forget, if you are going to listen to this on the podcast, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google, Anchor, it's Leicester Touching Up on YouTube. It's Leicester Till I Die TV. So see you, like I say, tomorrow night at 7 with the transfer show. On Thursday night, I've got a mate coming on, George, living down on the South Coast as I do. He's a huge Southampton fan. So we're going to have a chat on Friday at 7 o'clock in the Opposition View show. Thanks very much for joining us, guys. Whatever you do, please stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow at 7. Good night now.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.